So you have a ridiculously strong back, but you can barely turn around to do fucking anything. This is going to be a great video for you. Watch it till the end because I'm going to show you exactly how to create a strong, mobile back and spine, which is exactly what you need. You don't want to be strong and not be able to move because that just sucks. Before we dive into things, please make sure you have notifications turned on, you're subscribed to the channel, you leave a comment below with any questions you might have, and you drop a thumbs up because that really helps me with this channel so I can keep bringing amazing things for you. And look, as a thank you, you can click below, drop your email address, and I will send you my ultimate hip mobility guide. That's right, no questions asked. I'm never gonna spam you. It's just a way that we can stay in contact. I'll send you my best content and you get my ultimate hip mobility guide guaranteed to get you out of pain and help you move like you're Gumby. So let's dive in. Spine can do a lot of things, and yet we tend to only do one thing, which is move in one plane of motion. But we can rotate, we can extend and bend, we can laterally flex, right? And then we can also resist flexion and extension, which is an important part of any training program. So what we're going to look at are different ways that we can flex and extend the spine, because this is going to be a fantastic way to build a resilient back that can help you so you can be really fucking strong and also really, really resilient, which is what we're after at the end of the day. So the best place to start for this would be our cat and our cow. If you're not familiar with cat and cow, we have this position that a lot of people tend to have a hard time with actually. This would be our cat position, which is a hollow position. Notice the arch through my back. And then we have our cow position, which would be this version where we drop everything down. Here are my udders, moo, moo, moo. But really what we're doing here is we are flexing the spine and we're extending the spine. Now this can be hard for a lot of people. So what we're gonna look at is a way to segment your spine a little bit just so you can get more comfortable with this. So number one, we're actually gonna sit back. By sitting back, we can isolate our upper back. We'll take the lower back out of it. So you can either be on flexed feet, be completely flat, be completely flat. I'm going to be in a flexed foot position. More people will probably be able to do this than be completely flat. So from here, what you're going to do is I want you to imagine that you are trying to untuck your tailbone and arch through your back as much as possible, moving one vertebrae at a time. Keep your chin towards your chest. I don't want to see you come up like this because you're actually moving through your cervical spine and you're not moving through your T-spine as much. So keep it towards your chest, keep it true. And when you get as far as you can go, pause, take a deep breath. Exhale, and as you exhale, you're going to untuck. Think about spreading out the vertebrae along your spine. Spread, 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 spread the floor apart. Feel that big arch, pull that belly button towards the spine. And we're going to just do it one more time. See if you can do it. See if you can move vertebrae inch by inch by inch. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, once you've done that and you're comfortable with it, we want to take a look at our tailbone. This is the area where we actually do have quite a bit of mobility, even though we don't use it very often. A lot of lower back pain can come from having this gunked up lower back, which should still be able to move and articulate, and a lot of the time we can't do that. So what we're going to do is you're going to come down on your hands and knees, take your hands, interlock them, and you're going to shift your weight forward. Now by doing this, I can't move my upper back, and the only area I can move is my lower back. So what I'm going to do is tuck my tailbone by pulling my belly button towards my spine, and I'm going to untuck my tailbone by trying to drop that lower back and arch. It's not a big range of motion, and if you're doing it the right way, you're actually going to feel this in your deep abdomen, like deep, all the way into your hip flexors. Tuck and untuck. Now you might be saying to yourself, this is fucking stupid. Well, I used to think that too, but I never really get lower back pain. When my clients do this sort of stuff, their body awareness and how they move through space improves quite a bit. So we're just going to do one more. Keep shifting your weight forward if you find you're having a hard time, because now your abs are going to click on even more. It's going to become easier to tuck and untuck. Okay. Now we're going to put it all together. We're going to move one vertebrae at a time, going from our neutral spine into a cat and cow position. So neutral spine is kind of like chilling here. There might be some nerds out there trying to be like, well, that's not really neutral. Look, shut the fuck up. This is my neutral back. This is what's neutral for me right now. So from here, I'm going to untuck my tailbone. I'm moving vertebrae by vertebrae along my spine, moving slow and controlled, moving into extension, tucking my chin to my chest. Keep going. Feel like there's a string pulling you even deeper, and you're pulling your arms down towards you, so you have even more flexion. And now we're gonna tuck our chin to our chest even more. Vertebrae by vertebrae, find that hollow position. When you get to the bottom, tuck that tailbone by squeezing your butt a little bit more. Ooh. Ooh. That was pretty intense. You only need to do about 2 or 3 of those. It's very different than your traditional just dropping in cat, cow, cat, cow. But now that we've done that, we can go to cat and cow, and what we're going to look at is doing some circular motion here. So I'm going to face you on this side so you can see. So we're going to drop down into this cow position. What we're going to do is we're going to try and trace a big circle. So we're going to allow our weight to shift to one side, come up, hollow position, shift your weight to the opposite side, and come down. Come around, up, around, and down. And you're just trying to trace to kind of get a feel for what's happening, what's going on, what's tight for you. Keep it going. And look, you could do this at the start of your session. Like, I'm treating this like a warm-up before I go and do these other movements. You could do the same thing for your back. Now that you've traced that circle, what we can do here is we're going to bring our legs together. We're just going to do some silly tail wags. This is side flexion and extension. It's easy stuff here. Nice and easy. Here we go. Squeeze those legs together. Move that low back. And the final position that I really enjoy for this is getting some sort of side bend. So we can call this the merman. You'll lay on your side, right? And from here, all you're going to do is push up and look over that shoulder. You're going to feel a big stretch and come back down. Now, again, this is all movement prep. Notice how I'm not static in any of these positions. I'm moving in and out. We're not holding stretched positions during a warm-up. That's kind of not the best. Like to hold a static stretch. You want to be a little bit more dynamic, get the blood flowing. And these are some great back movements that you can put in on a back day, even on a lower body day. In general, you want to get your entire body moving. One more. And again, I'm not really counting reps here, but if I were to, say, be programming for you because you were one of my online fat loss clients or online training clients, I would say anywhere from 10 to 15 reps on each side, because we're moving pretty fast, is good. You do a little less than that, 5 to 10, but 10 to 15 is kind of like a sweet spot. And again, you might not be able to get all the way up like this, and that's okay. Even if it's here, eventually over time, you will get up and be able to move. After we do this, we're going to head over to the rings. You can use a TRX, a barbell, but I'm going to be using gymnastic rings. So you can see here, I'm using gymnastic rings. These are just a set of Rogue adjustable rings. There's no special brand that I really say, although my Rogues, they're over like 10 years old and they're still fine. But you could use a barbell and a squat rack for this next thing. You could use a TRX, whatever you want, something you could hold on to. You could use a Smith machine because that's adjustable. But what we're really going to be working on here is extension. Now, this is going to be challenging, but it is a great way to develop just the ability to extend through your upper back, through your whole back. Now, my back is very flexible at this point. You're not going to look like this when you first start, and it's going to be uncomfortable. The biggest thing that we have to focus on here is squeezing our butt. When we squeeze our butt and we extend, we are protecting our lower back. When we extend and we have no butt, stretch, no butt squeeze, it all immediately goes right into that low back and it does not feel good. The second I squeeze my butt, well, now I have this full extension happening. So one more time. Relax glutes, all right in that lower back. Squeeze the butt, drive forward. There's my extension. So it's almost similar to like if you've ever taken a yoga class, what we're going to be doing. It's almost like our camel position, right? We're opening everything up, we're squeezing our butt. We're really trying to find that extension, lifting up through that spine. So what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to face this way first and talk to you, and then I'll show you from the back side. You're going to be holding on to whatever contraption you're using. You're going to have your legs behind you. And all you're going to do is you're going to be dead weight. So right now my feet are flexed in back and I'm just hanging down. Notice that my hips are pretty far away from being underneath. Our goal is to get our hips to be directly underneath our shoulders. That's going to give us that proper amount of stretch. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm just going to hang here and be dead weight and that's all I'm going to do. No, you got to squeeze your butt so you protect your lower back, which you'll see in a second. And you don't want to be dead weight. What you want to do is actually pull down into the rings, into the bar, pulling down and lifting your chest up. That's going to give you a nice big stretch and allow you to stay pretty active and feel it all through the lats. When you find that position, then you can relax down a little bit more by actively pushing the rings away. So I'm here and I'm pushing away, just like I would be doing a handstand or something. I'm pushing or shrugging my shoulders up so I'm in full control. And now I get that big stretch coming through the back. So I'm going to show you now from the other side. So you can see, you can check out my badonkadonk. What is the junk in my trunk? You'll see here, start with my knees on the ground if I want. I'm then going to squeeze my butt as much as I can. Really pull down into the rings. Then I'm going to push the rings away. Really squeezing my butt as much as I can so I can get that nice big stretch down the front side. This is a big stretch. Stretching into those deep abs. Opening everything up. Squeeze. Hold for like 30 seconds. Hold for longer if you want, but I think 30 seconds is the sweet spot for the amount of contraction you're doing. Now, you might think the progression would be to lower the rings down, and you're not wrong. Lowering the rings down is a great progression, but what we actually want to do here is get our hips to be underneath our body. So I'm going to smooth the camera. So here, what we're going to do is you're going to squeeze your butt, and your goal, again, is to get your shoulders to be directly over your hips. So you can start down here in this position, right? But what I want to do is be active and pull and squeeze my butt and walk myself under. This is what we're working towards. So you have this nice full picture, and then extend those arms up, squeeze your butt. Think of having a tall spine and squeezing each vertebrae, just like that cat position, just like that cow position, right? We want to extend as much as we can, just that cow position. So we're extending, reaching up, and hold that position. That is this extension. Ooh, big. Take your time with that. There's no need to rush through it. Now we're going to take a look at a different side stretch that we can get using the rings or a bar. From here, you'll have two options. Option one is to have both legs out to find that flexed position. So the goal here is to, again, create a tall spine and eventually try to get our hips to be underneath. So we're stacking everything up. It's a big stretch through this whole side. I'll show you in a second going the other way. That's option one. Option two, one leg up, so you can really lift up as much as you can, and you can push into the wall or into the squat rack to have an even bigger stretch, because I'm now flexing my midsection and it's causing me to target that area. Again, I'm trying to stack everything underneath, flexing that bottom leg. So two options. Okay, now if I go this way, you'll be able to see a little bit more. So I'm coming down here, leaving my body back over here, and you can see I'm really trying to get that sensation all through that sideline. Now, if this is too hard for you, you can also open up your legs. So now I have them spread apart for some more support. Step that one leg forward again. And again, push into that wall so I get some more tension coming through there. And really try to push your shoulder away, push up towards the sky, try to stack everything up. Hang out here for about 30 seconds. You do that on each side, and that's a big, 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 big one. So when we hung from the gymnastic rings and we went into extension, it was more of a static hold, a static stretch, which can be great because it got us to be aware of where our glutes need to be and what it feels like to fully extend without cheating, right? Without just moving through our lower back. So another way to learn this, and this is one of my favorite ways, is to do more of a dynamic version of that. So what you'll do is you'll get close to the wall. And what you can have here is you can have, I don't have anything under my knees right now, but you should have some sort of padding under your knees. Let me see if I can fix the camera angle a little bit more. Now you can see my knees, you can see my head. I have them about hip width apart and I'm close to the wall. Now everyone's going to be different. The reason I want to be close to the wall is so I can drive my hips towards the wall. If my hips aren't towards the wall, I'm going to be moving through my lower back. So this is a nice way to know I'm driving my hips towards the wall, I'm squeezing my butt. And from here, I'm going to keep my arms at my side and I'm going to peel away one vertebrae at a time. Keep squeezing that butt and hold and then come back up. So I'm going to peel away one vertebrae at a time. Now I'm going to do it where most people's range of motion is here. That's great. Hold and come back. Again, peel away one vertebrae at a time. Look with your eyes. Let your eyes lead. Drive those hips towards the wall. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come back up. If you have a hard time with your arms at your side, hands in front, squeezing, like grabbing on, drive those hips forward, peel one vertebrae at a time, and hold. 3, 2, 1. Come back up. I would do anywhere from, 3 to 5 of those. You don't need to do many more than that. 3 to 5 for about 2 to 3 sets is a great way to kind of build on that dynamic motion. And of course, as you get more comfortable with it, you can do other variations. You could do standing versions of this, which I would be standing up and I would reach back behind me. You could do standing to bridge. But again, I would start here. I would drive my hips to the wall. I would take my arms, keep them across my chest. I would come back. And really try to flex and extend. Extend that spine as much as you can. Hold. And then come back up. Looked at a dynamic way to extend, right? Another dynamic way that you can flex would be something like a Jefferson curl, which in a video that I did last week all about some different compression work that you can do, some hamstring stretches that you can do. I talk about that, so you can check that video out somewhere. You'll be able to click along to be able to see that. But what we can also look at now is like lateral flexion. There are tons of ways you can go about this. I'm going to show you 2 options here. One is going to be a dynamic one where we're going to use all 3 planes of motion, and it's also going to get some rotator cuff in there. It's going to feel good. I would call this a side forearm plank matrix. Matrix just means we're moving in multiple different directions. I'm going to have my legs staggered apart, and from here I'm going to have my elbow on the ground and I'm going to come up, and here is like a regular side plank, if you will. Now, to make it dynamic, we're going to use our hips and we're going to go side to side, so that we would do 5 going side to side. After that 5th one, we would then go front and back, so drive the hips forward and back, forward, back, forward, back, and then from here we would do rotate in, rotate out, in, out, in, out. Now, a strong and stable spine should be able to move through all those positions. If we are comfortable with that, if that feels good, I'll show on the other side now. We're going to use an arm driver. So we're going to go side to side, up and down, like side to side. That's going to be our lateral flexion. We're going to go front and back, which would be our flexion and extension. And then we're going to do our rotation, which will be our internal and external rotation. And those are all things that your spine should be able to do. This is a nice way to tie everything together that we've been working on. So again, hips staggered, up and down. We'll do 5, And again, we want to be dynamic here. It's not slow, it's quick. And then we'll do front back, flex and extend. And then we'll do transfers. That is a way to kind of link everything together that we've been working on thus far. And I think it's important to note that because oftentimes we'll do all this work and we don't link it together, we don't use it. So that's just a fun way to go about it. It's some core work. You can put those sorts of movements at the end of your training session, like partner it. Partner it with some sort of static position and then partner it with a dynamic movement. I mean, if I'm doing back day, like it could be partnered. You could do band pull-aparts for like a set of 20 and then superset it with one set on each side of that dynamic movement. It'll be a nice for your rotator cuffs. It'll also really open everything up, but also help you be stable, like help you have that strength in multiple planes of motion. Another version of the side bend, you're gonna need a wall, so we're gonna go over to the wall. Your typical side bend, what you'll see a lot of people do is they'll grab like heavy weight and they'll just do things like this or down, and they're not actually using their full range of motion. So for this lateral flexion and extension, we're gonna glue ourselves to a wall. Now I'm gonna have my legs about shoulder width apart. I'm gonna glue my hip to the wall. I'm gonna stand tall as I can. Without any weight, it's literally, I'm trying to peel one vertebrae at a time off the wall, keeping the hips in contact with the wall, not moving, lower body's flexed, squeezing everything tight, and I come back one vertebrae at a time. Now that could be it. That could be like very challenging for you. It's a lot of concentration across that midsection. You're gonna feel it. And come back. Once that feels easy for you, you take a hand, place it behind your head, or lean it against the wall if you want, lean up. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna peel one vertebrae at a time, continuing to reach up, reach up. Don't let those hips leave the wall. I'm down, and then I'm gonna come all the way back up. So one more time, that arm is reaching up, so I'm keeping contact with the wall as close as I can be. And I'm gonna peel, really reaching over. I can let my eyes look up at that arm. Reach, 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 reach. Feel it in your side, in your core. Let it come down. Feel that tension, and then pull yourself back up. I'll show you once from the back, so you can see. Again, my leg is against the wall, my hips in contact with the wall. I'm raising that arm over my head. From here, I'm gonna let that hinge. I'm gonna look up at that arm, keep those hips in contact with the wall. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Reach up, keep reaching. When you can't go any further, pause, pull back up. Notice how that was one rep. I'm not doing like 30 of these really fast. Not getting a full range of motion, building a lot of internal strength here. Go, 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 go. Keep those hips in contact with the wall. Go, 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 go. And then come back up. Ooh. You don't need a lot of that. A little is going to do the trick. That took a lot out of me. You're going to build some really strong obliques with that movement. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm going to kind of teach you how to arrange this. In the beginning, we covered some dynamic movements. Those dynamic movements are meant to be quick, where you explore the range of motion that you have for that day. Then, after the dynamic range of motion, we went into some drills that you could use. I would do something like the extension and holding that position. I would do that kind of as like the dynamic movement prep. I would do that at the start of a session where I'm doing back day, so I can really get into every inch of my spine. And then I would go on to my weighted movements, whatever those might be. They might be rows, they might be pull-ups, they might be some different sort of cable work, whatever it is. I would then transfer to that so I could seal in that full range of motion. I would then finish up with some sort of other movement, like something like a plank matrix or a side wall or any sort of side bending, something that I could really do maybe higher reps of, but it could also be lower repetitions. I could probably do higher reps of the side bending if I didn't use weight, right? So it just depends on where you are for that day and what your main focus is. But again, it goes movement prep, exploring, kind of figuring out what needs work, Then it goes into like a static hold, a more dynamic stretch after that, and then go into like the weighted work and solidify that range of motion. An example would be like I did that extension and then I did wall extension, and then I would go and do whatever other back work I have going on that's weighted. It works out kind of nice to do your body weight movements first and then weighted movement after to kind of use a full range of motion and build as much muscle and control as possible. Everyone's going to be different. Like you could also have it where you do your weighted movement first and then you do your body weight movements toward the end or sprinkled throughout. I find that those are very, very neuromuscularly intense. And if I'm too tired at the end of a session to do those things, it's easier for me to cramp up, easier for me to maybe hurt myself. So you want to consider that based off what your training is for that day. So if you have any questions, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Leave a comment below. What's another sort of mobility or strength-based question you might have? I would love to do a video on it or even answer it below. So just comment below, let me know. Make sure you give a thumbs up if you found this helpful and you have notifications turned on so you can know when my next video is going to be coming out. Now, I have to tell you, my wife is very, very pregnant. Like she might have the baby today or tomorrow, which means quite possibly next week there won't be an upload or won't be one that's at the normal scheduled time. So the easiest way for you to make sure you know when my next one is going to come out and to know what kind of baby we have, whether boy, girl, you know, you're gonna wanna, one, have notifications turned on, and two, just click the link below, put your email address in, and you can get a free copy of my Ultimate Hip Mobility Guide, and I'll be emailing out when my next video comes out. That's what I always do. I send my best content from the week out to my email list. That's it, no spamming, no nothing like that. And I appreciate you if you take the time to do that, and as a thank you, get the Hip Mobility Guide. So what do you have to lose? Without further ado, remember, you are one day away from getting back on track and one day away from realizing how fucking amazing you are.